Hey guys, welcome to my February wrap up. And before we get into this video, I'm going to warn you now to go and get a drink and a snack and relax because this is going to be a long video. I'm going to do everything I can to make it as short as possible, but yeah, there's just too much to talk about. So this might end up being really, really long. So I'm warning you now. Alright, so before we get into the book portion of the video, of course we're going to talk about all the things that I played and watched during the month of February. Okay, so first up, video games. I played just a little bit of Dissidia in the very beginning of the month. That was it. I didn't play anything else. I like it, it's fine. I love Final Fantasy so much, but those aren't my kinds of games, and I only picked this up because it is Final Fantasy, and because my friends were getting it, and yeah, it's not my kind of game. I don't really enjoy the fighting games as much, like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I used to play them all the time when I was a kid, but now I'm just like, it's good, it's not bad, there is some story to it, but I don't necessarily love those kinds of games, so I didn't really want to continue playing after I only played a little bit, and that was all I played. That was it. I didn't play anything else in February. So, let's see. Let's go into movies. Movies I went and saw at the theaters. I saw The Greatest Showman again for the second time, and I freaking loved it. Me and my friend went and saw it again, and it was just fantastic. It was her third time watching it. It was my second time watching it, just because I couldn't make it to that other time. But it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Of course, it's one of my favorite movies of all time now. It's one of my favorite musicals now of all time. It is fantastic. And if you haven't seen that movie, I would definitely go and see it. It's Hugh Jackman at his best. Even Zac Efron and Zendaya were amazing in this movie. Just everybody was amazing in this movie. The casting was amazing. The soundtrack was amazing. Just everything was amazing. Okay. Next, I saw 50 Shades Freed again with my friends, and I enjoyed it. I thought it stuck true to the book, and that's all I was really looking for. There was one thing that kind of annoyed me that happened in the book, but they kind of changed it in the movie, but it's whatever. I don't, it didn't really matter in the long run. But yeah, I thought it was a good conclusion. It stuck true to the book, and that's all that mattered to me, and I enjoyed it. Okay. That was the end for seeing movies in theaters. Now for DVD, I went and saw, I picked up Bad Moms Christmas. This is a sequel to Bad Moms where all of their mothers come around for Christmas. Yeah. So, I thought this was good. I really did like seeing their moms and how awful they pretty much were. It was good, but it didn't live up to the first one in my opinion. So I still really liked the first one more than I liked this one. And yeah, I mean that's really all I can say. It was a good continuation, but it just didn't live up to the first one. Now we'll go into anime, where I did actually watch an anime this month. I watched Citrus. I've seen it all over my social media, so I went on Crunchyroll and I just added it to my queue, and I watched the first episode, and then I watched the 5 more that were up. And I'm liking it. This is about our main character, Yuzu. Her mom ends up remarrying, so they end up moving to a new home, and she ends up having to go to a new school. And in that school, this is a private school, so they all wear uniforms, and Yuzu just doesn't get that. So Yuzu ends up meeting Mei, the student council president, and immediately they dislike each other very much. And school just kind of sucks for Yuzu. And then when she gets home, she finds out that her mom remarrying this guy. By the way, Yuzu has never met him. I don't know if I've told you that. But yeah, Yuzu's mom remarried a guy that Yuzu has never met. I really did not like that part. But yeah, she finds out that the guy that her mom remarried has a daughter. So she has a stepsister, and her name is Mei, the student council president. Poor Yuzu. And then they end up making out. It's good. I don't hate it. I really did not like Yuzu for a good majority of the show. I'm still going to continue watching it and see how it progresses. It was just, I didn't mind that they, you know, if they were attracted to each other from the beginning and then they started to make out, that wouldn't have minded me. But I guess they ended up just started making out because, like, May kissed her just to, like, you know, shut her up. And I mean, it was fine. It was like a hate to love kind of, which I do enjoy. It just, for a good majority of it, it was weird. But it was good. But yeah, the one thing I didn't really like about it is the fact that Yuzu's mom remarried a guy that Yuzu has never met, and then this guy is barely ever around. May herself has not seen him in 5 years. That really annoys me. It's a show, whatever, but it really annoyed me, especially beginning of watching it. But again, I am like 6 episodes in. I think there's like 9 now. I haven't continued it yet, but I am going to continue watching it and see how it got, you know, how that goes. Alright, so then the last thing I need to talk about is the TV show I binged for the month, and that was A Series of Unfortunate Events. I binge watched the first season on Netflix. The second season comes out March 30th, so it was the shortest show I had to watch in the shortest month because it's only 28 days in the month. In the very beginning of the month, I just didn't feel like watching anything. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought, in my opinion, it stayed true to the books. It's the first 4 books, or the first season covers the first 4 books, and then the second season will cover the next 4, I think. Yeah, 5 through 9, right? Yeah. So it was good. I forgot how weird this show is, or how weird the series is. So weird. Especially seeing it on screen instead of just reading it. So weird. The casting was amazing, though. The Baudelaire children, the casting was awesome for them. I love them. Neil Patrick Harris is Count Olaf and many other versions of Count Olaf. Just amazing. The voice of Kronk, I can't remember his name, but his actor is the narrator, Lemony Snicket. And I thought that was awesome. I didn't even know until, you know, he came on screen, he started talking, and I was like, that's Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. So yeah, I thought it was good. And I'm going to continue watching the second season when it comes out. So I liked it. It was just weird. Like, every time I turn on an episode, I was just like, okay, this is weird. Okay, I can't I can't explain it any more than that, so sorry. It's probably an awful explanation. Okay, alright, we're gonna get into the book portion of the video. Now again, I'm gonna let you guys pause the video and go and get a drink and a snack, because this was nothing compared to the book portion of the video. Yeah. Alright, so, for the books, I read 20 this month. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why. I just continued reading and reading and reading, and, well, came up to be 20. I read a couple series, like I binged read series, so that was part of it. The first trilogy / series that I binged read was the next 3 books in the Stark trilogy. The second trilogy to the Stark trilogy. The first book is Say My Name, then it's On My Knees and Under My Skin. This follows Sylvia, who is a character from the Stark trilogy, or the original one. And she has become project manager of a new resort. And the architect ends up dropping out, in the very beginning. So she needs a new architect. And comes Jackson, her ex that she hasn't seen in 5 years. It didn't end well between them, and she has to go begging him to take on this resort so her investors will stay. And yeah, I enjoyed this trilogy. This is the first book I ever read by Jay Kenner, not knowing it was the start to a spin-off trilogy of the next trilogy, or of the first trilogy. And I enjoyed this a lot. I gave each of these 4 stars. I really enjoyed the romance between Sylvia and Jackson. Jackson does end up taking on the resort, of course, but he wants something in return, and that is her. So it does get sexy and smutty, and I really enjoyed Jay Kenner's writing and her characters and her sexy scenes. So if you're not into that kind of thing, I wouldn't recommend picking this up. But if you are, Jay Kenner is one of my favorites. I'm reading like almost everything by her, so these are really good. I ended up giving all these 3 4 stars, as well as the next 3 novellas that I read. I gave all those 4 stars. That was Take My Dare, Seduce Me, and Unwrap Me. Those followed Nikki and Damien as well as Jackson and Sylvia. So Nikki and Damien were the couple in the first trilogy. So Damien Stark, of course. Stark trilogy. Okay, so yeah, I gave each of those 4 stars. I really enjoyed the romance and the sexy scenes and just everything that was happening in this. I thought this was really good, and I am going to, of course, continue on with the next trilogy. There's so many. I have, I think, 2 more trilogies, and I think she's writing another. I have no idea. Well, then there's the 4th book to the original Stark trilogy that I can't read until I read everything else, because that is the newest one. Alright. Next up, I have Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This is something I didn't have on my TBR. This was just something I picked up randomly because my friend was reading it, and I decided to pick it up too, so we could buddy read it together, pretty much. I finished it. I don't know if she has yet. We haven't talked about it, but I finished it, of course, right away. I did enjoy this. I didn't know if I would because there are mixed reviews on it, so I was really hesitant to pick this up just because I wasn't entirely sure if I would like this. But this follows Audrey Rose, and she's really into the forensics. And of course, it's set in 1800. Oh my God, this is set during the time of Jack the Ripper, so in Victorian London, and of course, females becoming doctors. Never gonna happen. But Audrey Rose ends up assisting her uncle with autopsies, and she's learning everything she can from him and his assistant Thomas. They end up getting the victims of Jack the Ripper, or Leather Apron, as he was called back then. And yeah, so they end up assisting the police in their investigations of Jack the Ripper, because he is still terrorizing London, of course. And she ends up, a romance ends up brewing up with her and Thomas, the assistant. And I really enjoy their romance. I know a lot of people didn't, but I really like their romance. I really like Thomas. I love his sarcastic, snarky nature, and I really am drawn to that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't really want to go into too much without spoiling anything, but I really did enjoy this, and I am really looking forward to picking up the sequel. I did receive that as a gift for Valentine's Day for my friend, so we exchanged gifts for Valentine's Day, and I did receive that, so I'm really anticipating that book. I gave this 4.25 stars, and yeah, I can't wait to pick up the sequel. Next up, oh god, I picked up Meet Cute. This is the anthology featuring, of course, a bunch of Meet Cutes by a bunch of YA authors. Jennifer L. Armentrout, Katie Cotugno, Huntley Fitzpatrick, Emery Lord, Catherine McGee, Daniel Clayton, Nina LaCour, Jocelyn Davies, I don't know if I said that one, Cass Morgan, Julie Murphy, Meredith Russo, Sarah Shepard, Nicola Yoon, and E.B. Zoboy. I think that's how you say her name. Yeah, this is just a bunch of Meet Cutes. And some of these were really good. Some of these weren't. It just, the thing is that I found myself wanting more with pretty much all of these, because you're only getting the meet cute portion of the story. You're not getting anything else. So of course you're like, that's it. Oh god. Again, some of these were really good. I really enjoyed the one by Emery Lord, Jennifer Armentrout, Jocelyn Davies. Yeah, I think I really enjoyed that one. Yeah, that was pretty much it. The one by Catherine McGee I really liked. Even the one by Ibi Zobel was pretty good. The ones I didn't like were the ones by Kitty Cotogno and Meredith Russo. I didn't like that one. I don't really want to go into too much detail of this, but because this could go on and on and on. But yeah, this was good. The thing is about anthologies is that I end up wanting more. Like, I want a full-length novel for some of these. So, this is good. I ended up giving this 4 stars. So. Okay, next up I have... Sorry, I have these all in piles. I have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I had just picked this up a couple months ago. This was compared to Fangirl, so I wanted it. And this is about a girl named Frances. She is really obsessed with this one podcast. It's called University, and she ends up, drawing fan art for it. She's really big into that, and then the creator ends up seeing some of her work and contacts her and wants to collaborate with her. And of course, she's over the moon about it. Then the identity of the creator ends up getting out, and just stuff goes from there. They end up becoming really, really good friends. Okay. This book was really, really good. I really enjoyed this book. The one thing I really enjoyed about it is that, and I can't believe this because I am all about the romance, but you would think that the 2 main characters, the creator and Frances, would become, like, involved. They would have a romance. No. Here. This was my favorite quote. You probably think that a lead last and I are going to fall in love, or something. Since he is a boy and I am a girl. I just wanted to say, we don't. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the fact that they didn't have a romance. It was all about their friendship and, school and everything like that. And then it getting out that he is the creator, and it just... and their home lives, and just there's so much going on in this book that you didn't need a romance between them. I loved it. I love this book a lot. I gave this 4.75 stars. I really love this. This is so good. If you love Fangirl, this is definitely something you should pick up. If you want something that's not technically, it's not romance heavy or anything, it just follows 2 people who become really good friends, definitely pick this up. I really enjoyed this. And one thing I was missing from this that I really would have loved to see was fan art. She's huge into drawing fan art for this podcast. I would have really loved to see some fan art in this, And I think that's why I docked it 0.25 stars. Just because I really would have loved to see some drawings. Like, how with Francesca Zappia, how you got to see the fan art for, or the drawings that she writes for, or draws for her web series. I would have really, I would really like to see that in this. But this was fantastic, and I definitely recommend it. It was really great. Okay. Let's talk about Edenbrook by Julianne Donaldson. Thing is, I have my notebook here about all the reviews that I was writing for most of these books. I didn't write one for this because I didn't enjoy it. I thought I was going to write, but then I ended up just, like, reading it. I think I read this in, like, 2 sittings. I didn't love it. I gave this 2 stars. I can't remember really what it's about. It's about Marianne. This is set. I can't remember what. I think it's, like, in the 1800s. Yeah. Marianne lives in Bath, and she's bored out of her mind. She wants to escape. And then her twin sister Cecily ends up inviting her to stay with her at this estate in the country, and she just jumps at the chance. She needs to get away. Things start happening along the way, like she ends up getting robbed, and I think someone gets shot. Just things start happening. She ends up meeting this guy, and he ends up taking care of her, kind of thing. And then, you know, he just disappears. She gets to the estate, and she finds out, of course, he's the like lord of the estate, and ends up happening where her sister is like wants him all to herself. Her sister's got this huge crush on him, and well, Marianne has started to fall in love with him, and it just goes from there. I didn't enjoy this. You might enjoy it. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't, you know, I didn't really like the humor that was in this book. That just didn't really speak to me. Normally I really love humor in books, but in this it just didn't really correlate well with me, and I didn't really like any of the characters. I just didn't really like this book. Thought the romance was okay, but overall I just gave it 2 stars. I wasn't really thrilled with this. Okay, you know what? Oh no. Let's get this out of the way. I read A Fire and Stars by Archie Coulthurst. This was the book that I needed to read for, you know, this is one of the 12 of the year that I want to read. And I also gave this 2 stars. This is a, like, fantasy where the princess of this one kingdom, she is betrothed to a prince of a neighboring kingdom. Oh god, I can't remember most of what happened. They're betrothed, they have to be married. She ends up going to his kingdom and, yeah, staying with him. And then she ends up falling in love with his sister, which the premise sounds really great. Also, this kingdom bans magic. They hate magic completely. And of course, the princess, what's her name? Denalea, she has an affinity for fire. So now she's scared out of her mind because she could get killed at any minute. And also she's falling in love with the prince's sister. Yeah. I wanted to like this a lot, and I can't remember why I didn't even like it. I just didn't. I gave this 2 stars. Here, let me see if I can find my review for it. Oh god. Yeah. I was just bored, I think. Stuff was happening, but it just didn't feel like anything was happening for me. I don't know. I don't think I really liked the writing style for this. And I really wanted to like this, especially since Ink Mistress is coming out soon. And that looks really good. But I don't know if I'm going to pick that up just because I really didn't like this book. And I think it's still set in the same world as this. But yeah, this is a 2-star read for me. I just didn't really enjoy it. Okay, next up I have Finding Cinderella by Colleen Hoover. This book I gave 5 stars. Yeah, I gave this 5 stars. Now, I think I knew this like in the back of my mind, but I didn't really know that this was a hopeless novella. Now, as for some of you who don't know, Hopeless is my least favorite book of Colleen Hoover. I think I gave that like 2 stars. I did not really like that book. this is making me want to pick that up and give it another chance, because I really enjoyed this. I love the characters. This is about Daniel. He's in this, like, closet during school. He has a free period, and he just ends up sleeping in this closet. And in comes a girl, who just needs to get away, and it's in the dark, so they don't see each other, and they don't, know each other's names. They can't see, and they just end up talking, and they end up, liking each other, and stuff happens. But then she goes away, and they never see each other again. Now, this is like a year later. He ends up meeting, his friend's girlfriend's best friend. Her name is Six. It's a weird name, but I don't care. And he ends up falling for her. Is Six the girl that was from the closet? You don't know. Also the girl from the closet, he nicknamed her Cinderella. So, I really love that. You do see the characters, I can't remember their names. I think it's Holder and, what's her name? Hope was her other name. Sky? Her name's Sky, yeah. Holder and Sky. They're the characters from Hopeless, and I'm going to give it another chance. I'm going to try it again, because I really did enjoy this novella, and I give this 5 stars, so I'm going to give Hopeless another chance. Something I never thought I'd say. Alright, so next up we're going to go with Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. This is, I think, Francesca Zappia's first book, before, Eliza and Her Monsters. I could not think of the name. And, oh my god, I picked this up because, of course, it's Francesca Zappia, and I didn't know she had another book. And this is about a girl who has schizophrenia, and, what's it called? Okay, so armed with a take-no-prisoners attitude, her camera, a magic 8-ball, and her only ally, her little sister, Alex fights a daily battle to decipher what is real and what is not. So, Alex, she has schizophrenia, and she's had it all her life, pretty much. And she has a hard time, determining what is real and what isn't. What's a hallucination and what isn't. And when she was a little girl, she had a hallucination of, when she was in a grocery store, hallucination dealt with lobsters and a boy. And, years later, she ends up going to a new school, and she sees the boy. He's in her class. And now she has to really think about what's real and what isn't. Is this entire school real? Is Miles real? It's just really hard for her. And you get this, what's it called? You get this, unreliable narrator, because you don't know. Is what she's going through real, or is this just another hallucination? I really enjoyed this. I again gave this 4.75 stars. I just really love Francesca Zappia's writing and her characters and her worlds. I just really enjoyed this, and I really liked the sense of an unreliable narrator. I didn't think I would really like that, but I did. And yeah, this was really great, and I gave this 4.75 stars. Next up, I read The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. This is about, 2 people who, Drew and Alexa, they end up meeting in an elevator, which gets stuck, and Drew asks Alexa to be his date to his ex-girlfriend's wedding. So that's really how it goes. That's really the only synopsis I want to give you. Alexa and Drew are high-powered, officials. She is the chief of staff to the mayor in her town, and Drew is a doctor. So it is hard for to see each other a lot. They do, after the wedding, they do, like, there are some sexy times, and they do form a, like, sort of relationship, though I guess it's more like fuck buddies kind of thing. There was one scene where I really hated Drew. Alexa really wants to know where they stand. She wants to know, like, are they sleeping with anybody else? Or is this, like, a monogamous relationship, or can they just sleep with whoever? And he kind of just, like, plays it off, like, with these jokes, and it really annoys me. But overall, I did really enjoy this book, and I think I gave this 4 stars? Yeah, I gave this 4 stars. This was pretty good, and I'm glad I read it. So. Next up, I read Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. This is everyone's, like, least favorite Casey West. I think this is her first, or one of her first novels, and a lot of people really didn't like this. For me, I actually enjoyed it. I think this is one of the last ones that I picked up for the month, and I didn't think I would like it, but I found myself actually really enjoying this. This is about Gia, and her boyfriend ends up dumping her right before prom, like outside of prom, and all of her friends don't believe that he's real, or at least one of her friends in particular doesn't believe that he's real. And she really needs to go in there with him and prove to them that he is real, and that she's not lying. So when her boyfriend Bradley ends up dumping her in the parking lot, she finds another guy to fill in for him. His name is Hayden, and yeah, he is the fill-in Bradley, the FIB, which, that was pretty funny. The friend, Jules, that doesn't believe Gia. I really don't like Jules, Jules. I'm pretty sure that's her name. I don't like her at all. I think she's got, like, mean girl kind of, she tries to justify it later on, like, why she's like that, but she just really annoys me, and I don't care what the hell she's going through, she doesn't have to be a total bitch. Sorry. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars. I like the romance between Hayden and Gia, and yeah, I don't like the whole lying thing. That always kind of annoys me in books when I have to leave soon. When the characters decide to, when they think that they have to lie. I don't know, that always really annoys me. I don't like lying. I really don't. And if you don't have any other choice, I can see it being okay, but, like, with this, come on, like, did you really have to lie? But of course that's the plot of the story, so of course, it had to happen. But I enjoyed this, and I enjoyed seeing Gia's life, and her realizing that maybe her home life isn't as great as it sounded, or that she thought it was. And yeah, I give this 4 stars. Alright, last ones. Okay, so I read Autobiography from Christina Lauren. This I gave a 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this a lot. This is about main character Tanner ends up taking a class. It's called Seminar. It's like a creative writing class, and the teacher's assistant in that class, his name is Sebastian. Tanner ends up, having a crush on him, and Sebastian is from a year. Sebastian took the class a year before. He ended up getting his book published, and it was, yeah. Tanner and Sebastian live in a town that is very much Mormon. This deals with the Mormon faith, the religion that I knew nothing about. I still don't really know anything about it, but this really opened my eyes to that. Tanner is not Mormon. He is bisexual, and he is out to his family. They know, they're okay with it. They support him. Sebastian is Mormon, and he, of course, is not out at all. They end up having like a secret relationship where they sneak around to see each other, and it was really beautiful and real. Like, everything that was happening you could relate to, like if you were Mormon or if you were bisexual or gay, and you could see this like being a true thing. And I really love this. I give this 4.5 stars. I really love Tanner, and he's bisexual, and this was I'm not I'm not entirely sure about the representation. I am not bisexual, and I am not Mormon, but I've heard from others who were Mormon or who do know of the faith and are bisexual or other. I've heard really good things, so I believe the representation is really done well in this, at least in their opinion. So yeah, I'm not talking right here. But yeah, this was really well done, really beautiful. I really love the romance between Tanner and Sebastian, and yeah, I give this 4.5 stars. Okay, the last books that I read are another series, and that is the Wild Seasons Quartet. The first book is Sweet Filthy Boy, Dirty Rowdy Thing, Dark Wild Night, and then Wicked Sexy Liar. I only planned on reading this one, and then I ended up reading all of them. This follows a group of girls, Mia, Lola, and Harlow. They just graduated high school, and they decided to go to Las Vegas to have, fun, and before they have to come back to the real life and deal with all that. They meet a group of guys, Ansel, Finn, and Oliver. Yeah, they all got together, they get really, really drunk, and then the next morning they all find out that they're married. Yeah, they end up pairing up Mia and Ansel, Finn and Harlow, and Lola and Oliver. So they all got married, and Finn and Harlow and Oliver and Lola decide to annul their marriage immediately, and Mia and Ansel decide to stay married and see how it goes. So Mia ends up following Ansel to Paris, and she ends up, having a summer in France. And this is done really well. I really enjoyed this. This was a reread for me. I really liked it the first time around, and I really enjoyed it this time around. And yeah, I've only ever read this one. I have never picked up the rest of them. So Dirty Rowdy Thing follows Finn and Harlow. I really enjoyed their relationship. This I gave 4.5 stars. I gave this 5 stars. I really enjoyed Finn and Harlow. Dark Wild Night, I gave this 4.75 stars. Oliver and Lola, I really love them. They're just so geeky and nerdy, and I love them so much. And yeah, 4.75 stars. And then Wicked Sexy Liar, 5 stars. These follow the trio that you see in the first book, and then this follows Luke and London. London is Lola's roommate, and Luke is Mia's ex-boyfriend. And yeah, they end up meeting in a bar, and end up, of course, having this. All follows like sexy times. This is smutty reads, and so if you're not into that, don't pick these up. These were really done well. I really enjoyed them. I love Christina Lauren. And then I got the Target exclusive, so this came with the Not Joe and Perry story novella, and Not Joe is a character from this series that his name is not Joe. Oliver calls him Joe, but it's not Joe. He has another name, but Oliver doesn't want to know it. And so they all call him Not Joe, except for Oliver calls him Joe. And then Perry is a friend of the guys, and I really enjoyed it. I loved all of these. I think I gave the novella, if anything, I'd give it like 4 stars. But yeah, I just really love the romance between all of them, and I'm really glad that I've read all of these, and yeah, they're just so good. And I love Christina Lauren, and yeah. Okay, 40 minutes. What did I tell you? This is going to be long. I'm very sorry about that, but now I really have to leave. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am so sorry for this being so long, but what can you do? I read 20 books in the month of February. I'll see you again with another video. Bye.